Hello ladies and gentlemen, PlayAsia supplied me with this copy of this game, so if you want to support me and the channel, use the link in the description to go and buy something, and there's also a coupon code you can use to save a couple of bucks off your order. You'll be helping me out and hopefully you'll be buying something good. Thanks for your support, enjoy the show. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima. I apologise this took as long as it did, but it's surprising how much time these sorts of games can take. Intro videos, because of course. Or maybe it's just loading up a gameplay demo. I haven't actually waited around on the task screen long enough to find out before. Yep, it was just a gameplay demo. So, yeah. Professional Baseball Spirits 2019, Pro Yakyuu Spirits 2019, whatever you want to call it. I've played it. I've played a fair bit of it. And, well, I gotta be honest, the initial, sorry, the initial impressions aren't that positive, if I'm being that honest. And it's strange, too, because I played Professional Baseball Spirits 2012, like, a couple of years ago, but still. It should have had something like 7 years worth of improvements, or at least you would hope for something like that, right? But it looks like for whatever reason, some things just got in the way, and I just need to open up my translation guide, which I forgot to open because I am a fool. So yes, I did write myself a little translation guide again, because that's what I do. But before we go through this menu, I'm just going to go play a match, because one of the major problems with Pro Yakyuu Spirits 2019, at least from what I've played of it, is that the game itself doesn't actually have that much in the way of, the game doesn't actually have that much in the way of proper baseball. Which I know sounds ridiculous, but still, I'd like to just go through the effort of actually giving this a go. Let me just see if I can change the settings of the game real quick so that we don't have to play for 9 innings. I know it's around here somewhere. There it is. Right, so we'll drop that down to 3 innings. And I think there should be an option somewhere that lets me change the what gets played by the AI and what gets played by me, except I don't remember exactly where it is. Screw it, we'll just hit go. Dana Bay Stars versus the Buffaloes. I don't know what makes me pick the Dana Bay Stars. Like, the first team I picked, for whatever reason, when I first booted up Power Pro Yakyuu 2016, was the Dana Bay Stars. And, yeah, that's pretty much just how it went. Just let you have a little bit of a look at the way everything is set up, how they've made it look like a proper television presentation like I have for the past, 5 Pro Yakyuu Spirits games. Looks like I'm going to be hitting first. This game does that thing that Power Pro does, where the game's frame rate gets cut in half in more intense scenes in order to maintain the graphics. You might be seeing what looks like a weird shimmer around the players and all that, but that's not actually a thing in the game. I believe that's just a video recording. I believe that's just something to do with the video recording. Not that big of a deal. So yeah, the game is baseball. It's your pretty traditional, no-nonsense baseball, and I appreciate that. Of course, it's designed to be a simulation. That's what Pro Yakyuu Spirits is. Power Pro is the more wacky, over-the-top, arcadey style of baseball. This is the meant-to-be realistic interpretation of it. The controls are very simple for taking swings. You have this analog cursor, the meat cursor, which you can move around. You can also do digital, so it moves in a sort of like digital pattern so that you can make it move up, down, left, right. You press the X button to swing, and it's all based on timing and physics. You can see the hit cursor is highlighted in white. That's the best area for you to hit. You do also have preferred areas to hit. The red areas your good areas, the blue areas your bad areas, and everything else is in between. If your hit cursor's in the red, it'll be bigger. If it's in the blue, it'll be smaller. And you just gotta try and hit that ball. The X button does your longer range hits. The circle button does your shorter range hits that are able to be a bit later on the timing. You gotta be a bit quicker when you're using the X button. I don't know the technical terms. I've never been a particularly baseball inclined person. I just know that's how this game seems to work. You do also have the ability to press square to bunt. And you have the ability to use the R button to hit a power swing. And if you successfully hit a power swing, it'll usually go a lot further, but in this game it's a lot harder than, say, Power Pro to get a home run. It's definitely a lot more realistic in that regard, but hitting a home run is not impossible because, well, I've done it. I've done it in this game, thankfully. And I will say that hitting in this game is actually still incredibly satisfying. There's one thing I gotta give Pro Yakyuu and Power Pros and Pro Yakyuu Spirits credit for, that they have some absolutely fantastic hitting. I'm gonna bunt this one. I'm not gonna let this one go. Oh, no, never mind. Should have found a better way to bunt that, but, well, I paid for it. I paid for it dearly. And yeah, you do get replays from time to time. But yeah, Power Pros and Pro Yakyuu Spirits both have fantastic hitting. I've always liked the hitting in these games, and as far as I can tell, this game is no exception. So now we get to go on to the pitching, I believe. At least I hope it does. I'm pretty sure I've got the settings set right so that it won't skip pitching for me. Yep, alright. We have the ability to pitch. Pitching in this game is also pretty simple. However, they've made it a lot harder. I'm not entirely sure what the deal is here, but I think they've made it so that the timing is a lot more intense. And it's strange like that. So you see that white circle there? That white circle needs to be in the exact center, otherwise you will not get the proper pitch. Which is why I'm going to go change that setting. That's your default setting. This is not the... No. No, come on menu, it's a little bit laggy. It's actually laggier than I remember it being from 2015. But yeah, if we go in here, I believe this is the way to change the pitch in there. There's a bunch of settings here. I'm not even going to try and explain what half of those are without my translation guide. So, yeah, now if I just do this, I now throw pitches just with one button, but it adds the randomness of the pitcher's stats into it. The other way means that I'd be able to, you know, get it perfect every time if I could. But as you can see, I had 3 pitches there, and I missed all 3 of them. So I'm not even going to try. I swear they've made pitching harder. I'm not entirely sure how they've made it harder, but they have definitely made it so that the timing has to be a lot more aggressively perfect. And considering I've never liked pitching in these games in the first place, just because, well, honestly, it's just not my thing. There's nothing wrong with the way they do pitching in these games. The controls are fine. You do have the ability to go digital on these as well, if you so desire. So that you only move it up, down, left, right. It's not based on the position of the analog stick precisely. But that is a thing. You've got all sorts of different pictures that you can teach to your... pitches that you can teach to your pitchers. You've also got a neat little system down the bottom there that tells you the speed that they'll be expecting. It tells you what the speed of the pitch that you're doing and the rough speeds that they'll be expecting. So you have a rough idea of when to switch it up, which I actually really appreciate as a thing, because considering that most of the pitches are in their Japanese names, this gives you a rough idea of what sort of pitches you should be using, just as an example, because, I mean, sure, you can tell what direction your pitches are going to go in via selecting them from this little menu here. Oh yeah, also you can change the defensive setup. Let's do that. But yeah, you can change the... You can see... Whoops. You can see what direction the pitch is going to go in, and you can see what speed it's going to be at just at a glance, without needing to rely on any sort of, like, Japanese knowledge. I like that. I like that a lot. I believe that it's actually pretty intelligently designed, and I enjoy it. I think it's a really well-designed system. Even if I don't particularly enjoy pitching just because it's not really my thing, I can appreciate how it's well designed. Now, if I could actually hit a ball to save my fucking life, maybe we'd be able to actually, yeah, I swung way too early on that one. God damn it, me. So let's talk about the graphics. Now, I will say they're improved from 2012, but that's a given, mainly because I believe 2012 was the first version that actually showed up on the PlayStation Vita, so they had to have made some improvements. I was nowhere near that one, I apologize. Let me actually try and hit this one. Yay! But yeah, they absolutely have improved it from 2012. The question is, have they improved it from 2015, which was the last version of this game to come out 3 years after the game that I played? Honestly, couldn't tell you. I tried looking up some footage of 2015 on Vita, came up a little bit short. I will say this though, the game does still look pretty impressive. All the characters do look pretty real just on the face of it, like their models and stuff like that. All actually look pretty nice. And even things like the crowds out in the background, I can still appreciate them because they just look nice. Oh yeah, this game also does the thing where you gotta hammer the L and R buttons while you're out on the field in order to actually run for it. I'll explain the fielding controls in a little bit. But yeah, the game does look nice. However, some of the player models have what I would like to call same face syndrome, where it seems like they all have very similar looks, like even in comparison to something like 2012. I'm not entirely sure if this is just me or not. I mean, you can tell the difference between players, but it just seems like that they've all been hit with the case of the similarity hammer. I don't know. Maybe I need to find someone who's like... Maybe I need to find an international player, compare them to the Japanese players, and see if I'm really talking about what I'm talking about, because... Yeah. It's entirely possible that I'm just, like, not being able to tell the difference in minor things, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't look good. The field looks good. Just the overall presentation of the game is pretty impressive. You can see the bloody, badly animated crowd in the background there, but still. It looks kind of nice, although I gotta say, I did look up my own video on 2012, and the crowd seems to have been given a little bit of a downgrade. It's a little strange, if I'm being honest. Every time I've looked at the crowd, they seem to have been a little less active than 2012. I'm not entirely sure why that's a thing, but I suppose that it's a thing. Fielding controls are simple too. You use the square button plus the directional pad to tell certain people where to go in terms of sending them forward. Circle does the same thing but backwards. Triangle sends everyone forward. You can also change this to a thing where you use the, I believe the X button plus the directional pad to handout orders, you can also do the same thing when you are on defense. Defense in these games has always been a little bit annoying, but at least you know if they actually hit a ball to immediately like look to the bottom right corner of your screen to see the real-time radar. They'll tell you where your dudes are and where the ball's coming down, unless you've got that option turned off, of course, because you can turn that off. It's still got that problem where you're not entirely sure what dude you're gonna... God. Yep, he fucked up that pitch and I fucked up the hit. Good job, me. Let's see if I can go for a home run, just for the hell of it. Yes, the game does have cursor assist, which is like their version of auto aim, where it'll guide it in, depending on the settings you've got set. Shit. Yeah, that lady is so happy. She's a Buffalo supporter. We don't like Buffalo around here, said the Americans. Man, this guy's really sending it down the middle. The next one's got to be a bit... Yeah, had a feeling. Alright. Looks like we're back on defense again. So we can hit the start button to, of course, do things like change our pitches, for example. So I believe it's this menu here. Indeed it is. So let's just, let's pick out a picture. That'll be interesting to... You'll do. You'll have to excuse the dogs going off outside. I need that window open for reasons. It's like 10 AM on a Thursday. I shouldn't be having too much trouble. Of course, you get your 3 practice pitches. And can I just skip this in some way? Yeah, there we go. Alright, let's actually go and play some defense. I will give the game credit for one thing. It's got a really good tutorial that teaches you everything you need to know about the controls. There are 24 scenarios in all, and they teach you everything from how to effectively hit to how to effectively field, to even like little things you wouldn't think of. Like you can press a button, for example, say a ball goes to one of the outfielders and you press like say the X button to send it to home plate. You want to be able to get that in midair. So if you hit the X button to throw it to home plate, but you decide halfway through to send it to the in-between fielder, I don't know what his name is off the top of my head, I apologize. You can hold the R button while it's in flight to actually get the ball to redirect and then send it another way. That's the most complicated tutorial. It took me a little while to figure that one out, but that's a thing. Yeah, I think I'll have these guys a little bit closer, actually. Oh god, that one was out of here. Jesus. That one was also out of here. This guy's a dick. He won't stop swinging for the fucking rafters. Admittedly, I have no place to complain because I do exactly the same thing. That's what we call a good play, ladies and gentlemen. What happens if I press square here? Oh, I think I got a coach's recommendation. No, no. We won't worry about it. We'll just go back to the game. Yeah, I really should have done better with that one. It's alright. I can afford to give him a base or two. One thing I have noticed about the graphics, though, is that some of the animations can be kind of wonky. And I'm not entirely sure why. Like, that animation there, you see how it's just that tiny little bit stiff? Like, it seems to go from, like, Here's how animations work, at least in video format. They have this thing called keyframes, and they use keyframes as a sort of base to build all the other frames off of. And you can kind of see with that guy there how certain like movements in here with his baseball bat are a little bit stuttery. Like they have very few keyframes to build the rest of the frames off of. So it feels like it's stuttering between a few major frames in between the minor frames. There's a couple of animations like that, and they stick out like a sore thumb. I'm not entirely sure if that's on purpose, or if it's just me paying attention to details that have been there before, but still, it's really strange. Oh, that's gone. That one isn't, though. Good night, sunshine. Successful double. Go me. Oh, you can send these guys off early, by the way. Observe. Look, I'm winning, so, like, I don't really mind at this point. But still, it's just a demonstration. You can do that. You can send them out early. And this will generally, like, if you actually do it intelligently, unlike what I just did there, you'll probably be rewarded for it with a free base. Come at me, bro. Timing was a little off on that one. Damn. Hit that one for, I hit that one with the circle hit and not the X hit, so didn't get that much distance on it. I thought that would be necessary, but apparently I'm wrong, because I'm doing just fine with the X hits. I think the AI is actually on a slightly lower difficulty than I'm used to. You can set the AI difficulties manually, and there are also some modes where you have to set it separately. Still though, the game's got a lot of options, and harder AI in these games can be a bit of a challenge. It really can. That was a good hit. Would have been nice if it was a little bit better timed and a little bit more on target, but not much you can do about that, really. Yeah, I've seen. I just watched the hit, guys. Come on, you don't have to be so aggressive. Admittedly, you can actually turn down the amount of replays. That is an option. And a pretty cool one, too. You can turn off a lot about this game, actually. You can turn off a lot of, like, the information that you get. Really shouldn't have swung for that one, but... yeah. Alright, I'm 4 runs ahead. I just need to make sure that they don't get through. This is kind of why baseball is appealing. Like, admittedly, I've never been that much into sports. Tennis was always a favorite of mine, but that was because I had to pick something for, bloody sport and all that at school, so... yeah. But after having played these games, the Pro Yakyuu and Power Pro games specifically, I see what they're getting at. The main, like, conflicts in baseball is the duel between the batter and the pitcher. The pitcher basically needs to be on task at all times trying to get it past the batter, and the batter needs to be trying to read his pitches so that he can see exactly where he needs to hit. That's just kind of supported by everybody else, more or less. That's the main focal point, and that's what makes it interesting. And, of course, the best way to make something even more interesting is to make the concept engaging with really good gameplay systems. And, as I've already said, it's a really satisfying game of baseball, even with all the other stuff that I'm going to have to bring up in the next couple of well, considering that we're about 25 minutes into this recording and I'm just getting out of my first game now, it's probably going to be hours, but frankly, a game like this I think deserves it, because it's clear that they've put a lot of effort into it, but it's also clear that some of the effort might be misplaced. But yeah, there we go. That's a full 3 innings game of the Dana Bay Stars versus the Buffaloes, and we wiped the floor with them. 4-0. All these little touches too, like interviewing the player of the match, the MVP, all of that. Yeah, that's nice. There's also like commentary going on the whole time, which I haven't been able to listen to because my audio is turned off. But admittedly, the commentary in this game is actually kind of quiet. I don't know what the deal is with that. Like, it's kind of quiet, and it seems kind of reserved. Like, the last Power Pro game I played had better commentary than this, honestly. Also kind of bizarre, because they actually brought, the commentator that they had for that actually died recently. Like, just before 2018 came out. But they still had his voice available as an option anyway, and that was a little bizarre. Oh, they even have highlights. Of course, the first highlight is me fucking up that bunt. I would expect nothing less. The game is obviously trying to make fun of me. Admittedly, the game probably looks pretty aliased on your screen, but on the Vita screen it looks fine for the most part. There are a few jagged lines here and there, but I mean, we're talking about the Vita. What else can you do about it, really? Yeah, look, can I just skip the rest of these? Yeah, I can. You already got to see them. You don't need to see them again. Alright, Bay Stars win. There's your results for you. You can also go look some more detailed statistics, but yeah. So, this is the main menu where we can go and have a look at all the other additional modes. So, we're going to take the time to go and do some settings diving and all that before we actually go running into the individual modes. So, if you're not ready for that, get a cup of cocoa, drink it and fall asleep at your desk, please, because that's what's going to happen. So, just before we do that, though, let's outline the modes here. So, we've got single match there, obviously, and you can do it in a multitude of ways. Dream League, which is their new mode, which kind of combines their Grand Prix and their management modes. Pennant Race, which is just, you know, take a team and take it through the Japanese Baseball League. Whether it be, you do it from, like, the 2 individual leagues that they have, and then, you know, the thing at the end. I never play those modes, by the way, because they're usually full of menus, but I did take a quick look and everything seems okay, but I mean, again, I can't read Japanese, I can't really tell, can't give you an opinion on that one. Star Player, which is their mode where you take control of one dude and do it through and play throughout a life of baseball. This is your training mode where you can practice the 3 individual types of play, which is fielding, pitching, and batting. This mode down here is Koshien Spirits, which is their new mode for generating new players. And a lot of the Japanese reviews on Amazon actually seem to hate this mode for some reason. Break Play, which, if you remember how in Power Pro 2018 they had the live challenge mode, where they did the baseball games in the background in real time and let you play like the most determined moments from that in one team's favor. It's that mode again. We'll go into it later, but you get that idea. This is your online match mode. Strangely enough, it's out here for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it's here. I played 1 game of this, and it was laggy as all hell. There's a reason for that, of course. I'm not in the same continent as most people that will be playing this game, but it's there anyway, you know. I imagine that it will work fine if you're playing with people on the same continent, but I wasn't, and I usually can't guarantee that I am, so I can't play that. This is the home run mode. Yeah, and this is your tutorial, which I have completed, but not fully, because they require you to do everything perfect in order to fill in that little cross thing there. This one here is your player data. This will let you see things from both the players you've taken through the modes, like the Koshien Spirits modes. I've done 2 and I'm working on a 3rd. You can also see screenshots you've taken there. Nothing. I don't have anything incriminating in there. It's just it's irrelevant. I believe that's also how you delete players. But yeah, you can also go edit players to a point. So if I also press triangle, we can see some stats about him. This guy is he is a first baseman, I believe. Might also be an infielder. I'm not sure. I never am sure because, you know, I'm incompetent. But yeah, of course, this is where you come to see his stats, and we're going to go through the usual spiel of how stats and traits work in Pro Yakyuu Spirits. So here's the stats for you. His meat, which is basically the size of his batting cursor for his right and his left hand, respectively. This is the stats in the middle of the screen I'm going through right now, by the way. The one below that is his overall power, his running speed, his catching ability, his throwing ability, his shoulder ability, which is a little strange, his recovery from fatigue, and his overall defense, his error rate, how likely he is to fail at that sort of thing. Also on the right, you have what are known, well, not what not are known as traits, but what are known as, like, the little abilities. They can be positive and negative, and they usually have some sort of, like, small effect. The one I'm aware of from from Power Pros is, like, he will have a slightly bigger hit cursor when it's when it's on his 3rd strike. They're just little things like that that give players a little bit of individuality. You also have some really intense AI stuff. You can tell the AI exactly how to play the player. You can also set things like their hit markers, where they're more likely to be able to hit in the bottom left there. It's a little bit interesting. And there's your details on, like, his personal stats. This guy's like 7 years older than me. That's making me feel old. But yes, you've got that for every player, including free players. So let's go with the Marines, just as an example. And you can see all of their stats, all of their pitches that are going on down there. Here's their stats, by the way. You got your ball speed, your stamina, and their overall fatigue recovery rate. You also have how they do as a startup pitcher, as a relay pitcher, or as a suppressive pitcher, which is an interesting concept to split across 3 things, but, I mean, there you go. And you can see that they've got their own, like, little skills over on the right there as well. The skills, I mean traits. Traits are separate between pitchers and batters in terms of what they can do, and also, like, fielders count as batters, so that's the thing. They've also got their own AI things, and they've also got their own stats, including their hits, including their stats for the 2018 and 2019 season, and they have also said that they plan on updating this game with the 2020 season stats later next year. So that's all good. You have your team management here. You can make custom teams, I believe, if I remember where the bloody hell you're supposed to go. No, that's initialize. Yeah, I believe you can make your own custom teams. No, apparently not. One thing that most people have actually been complaining about in this game is that you've lost the ability to awaken players. I feel like I need to bring this up because it was in pretty much every single review I read, poorly Google translated on the Amazon.co.jp site for this. You lost the ability to awaken players, so if you like a player and you want to make him stronger, you can't do that anymore, which is apparently a big problem for some people. I can kind of understand why, mainly because once the dude is set, he's basically set in stone at this point, but yeah. This is your in-game shop, and you have the ability to buy both permanent things, which is your top option here. These are things like game mechanics, certain settings, baseball stadiums, and players. Things like pitchers, batters, coaches, and stuff like that, right? And down in the second option, you have the ability to buy consumable items, which you can take into Star Player, Pennant Race, and Koshien Spirits for things like, you know, getting their energy back, more money, more stuff like that. You know, just stuff like that, right? You can't buy anything for Dream League mode, because it's an always online mode that is a lot like the, what's it called? Diamond Dynasty in MLB The Show. But yeah, there's also DLC. There's a ton of it. The main DLC that you can buy is Fire Energy, and Fire Energy is used in the Dream League mode. It costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to be even remotely useful in Dream League, but we'll get to that. I'm going to be here for an hour and a half at this rate, but I'm going to have to be. This button here leads to a questionnaire. They send these out from time to time in order to ask you what you think of the game. I have not answered them, and I don't plan on answering them because I'm not going to be able to translate the passages effectively enough to give them a realistic response. So, this is the settings menu. We got a bunch of settings to go through here, but I'll go through the easy ones first. This is notices, which will let you know if there's going to be anything happening, like, you know, the game needs to go down for a couple of hours for maintenance. This is save, this is load, this is delete. You can also import data from 2015. To what end, I don't know, but I don't own 2015, so I can't show you this anyway. This is your profile settings here, and your profile settings will let you change things like your name, your avatar, your birth year, and your favorite team. There are also some places where it'll let you change your player's appearance. You've got your supporting songs here, if you remember this from the like Power Pro games, for example, and you can compose them. So, like, this is just a small example. Yep, okay, but here's the thing: you can also bring up example songs. So here's Glory Days. Let's just stop that right there in case they have that on a copyright strike. They probably do, in all honesty. Also, you can make a ridiculous amount of cheer songs if you like. Yeah. 960. That's always a neat feature to have. I appreciate that it's there. We got our sound settings here. And here's what most of them are. I forgot to do the one down the very bottom here. But here's what the other ones are. So starting from the top, you got your commentary, your cheering, your support song, your background music, your production sound, which I imagine is things like the effects that come in on the, like, you know, when the professional baseball spirits thing comes in, like a TV logo, and menu effects. So, you know, stuff like the menu. You've also got, I don't know exactly what this is here. I think this is related to something else, but this here, I believe, is the impact sound for the ball. At least that's what it translated to. Now here's your user settings. This is weird. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. I don't even remember if this was in 2012. I did look up my video on it, but I couldn't find it. But basically, they've split it into two different sets of settings. Comm settings happens across certain types of games, but this one does too. Like, playing across the settings, I realized that if I wanted there to be any consistency in the settings that I've got selected, I've had to set it in both of these, and I'm not entirely sure why they're so separated like they are. I can't tell. The manual doesn't have anything on this as far as I can tell, and I looked, trust me, but anyway, these are your player settings. This is your batting settings, so you can set like the analog or digital. I would set the digital here, and you can set the speed of the digital cursor and the ball speed. You can have it as high or low as you want, although this doesn't take effect in certain modes, obviously. This is tab 2. Hang on, I've got my translation guide here. This is cameras. So your throwing camera, your hitting camera, and whether or not you can operate them. Third tab is your hitting system. Hitting system? I might have fucked that up here. Oh yeah, the hitting system, right. So this determines how you hit the ball. The top one is your meat cursor. I don't know what the bottom one is. I haven't tried it. God, I've put so many hours into this game already, and I still haven't tried out half the shit in it, just because I don't bloody remember half of it. This changes, this is your strike zone. This shows you what is displayed on the screen, and this is how much auto aim you have on the cursor. This here is your throwing system. So this is, apparently you can't change it from the to throw, but you can change what button you throw it with, the prediction point, the formation, I don't know what that means, honestly, and whether the ball is returned or not. Again, I don't really know. This is your runner operation. This is more in-depth than the other menu for some reason. This is how you act on your defense. So you can use either the triangle, circle, or square or X buttons to do with the individual bases, or use the D-pad plus the X button. And this is your drop point indication, which is when the ball goes high. This tab is for AI strategy, I think. This shows you, this set of menus here is what you want displayed on the screen. Player names, their special abilities, stickman display. I don't know what that means, but that's what that translates to. Operation guide, timing guide, and speed gauge. And this is where you come to change things like the difficulty of the AI. You can also set it so that you can set these 4 things manually: pitching, hitting, running, fielding, apparently. You can also change their throw cursor, their ball type, their pitch prediction, and their strike zone. Now, when you go over into the comm settings, you'll notice that some of them are different, and some options have way more options in them, and I'm really not sure what the difference is. It's really strange how they've set up that system. I can't tell you what some of these things is because I didn't realize that the menus would be different until I actually almost started recording this video, so I didn't have time to translate them. I've got no more time to spend on this game. I've already put so many hours into it. I'm sorry. But you get the general idea of the settings menu, I hope. It's kind of a mess. So here's a question. What do we play first? Koshien Spirits, I think. So here's the drill with Koshien Spirits. We're gonna go through. You've got 3 different ways to make your characters. This is basically an entire system meant for custom characters. The 1 year challenge is actually kind of similar to Power Pro Success Mode, where you start out as like a high school baseballer and you have to go through a year of selecting your training and leveling up and trying to make things like relationships and stuff. And these 2 down the bottom here are actually something a little bit different. Notably, they removed something called the card challenge, which people absolutely loved, apparently, because, again, that was something that almost everyone complained about being missing. And you know what? I kind of agree, because these other options are just kind of strange. So, all 3 of these are relatively similar. The main difference between them is the amount of time they take. So, we're going to do a practice challenge. We'll do Tokyo, why not? We'll just set everything as it is set. You can choose between pitchers and batters, of course. And for some reason, you can set these down. I don't know why you would, because it's just an outright advantage to have as many ups as possible, but okay. It's asking you if you want to start with those settings. So here's how it works. You select who you want to train with, and it gives you a certain amount of points in each stat. So you can also select this one here, which will give you a bonus skill. And it'll also determine how many things you have to do. Depending on the thing that the mode that you have, the time scale works slightly differently. But for the purpose of demonstration, let's just pick this one. Now let's pick this one. So we get a special skill, and we get to talk to this dude, and he gives us a bunch of bonus points. I don't know what this guy's asking. So I just said yes. But yeah, this is the general idea of this mode. You go through, you select what stats you believe will be the best, and you try and do things like get it onto these dudes so that you can get better overall points. So yeah, this will improve one of his batting things from D to C. You know what? Give me a bunch of hit power. I'm gonna need that to demonstrate. And as you can see, it loops back around. So you go to level 2, and then you go then you just do it again until your player is complete, more or less. We're gonna do this until the player is complete, just for the purpose of demonstration. Yeah, these special ones will give you things like fire points, and these are not the same fire points that you need in the Dream League mode. It's a little strange like that. But yeah, we'll take the special skill here. I guess we have to skip this guy. Yep, now we can go straight in on this guy. He'll give us some bonus points. But as you can see, since I delayed a little bit, it means that I'm not going to be able to get through to the rest of the people in time, so I think my best option here would be just to pick something that gives me the most points. And now that that's done, we have the ability to customize our dude as we so desire. We can change his name, his general stats, things like his birth date. And if we press this option down here, we can select things like his batting style, which is cool. And this one here will let us change his appearance, of which you can do a fair amount. Like, hang on, we'll just go back and we'll hit the button down the bottom here because it randomizes it. See what I mean when I say it kind of looks like they were all hit by the similar looking brush? It's kind of strange. Also, the textures are a little bit weird in the middle of nowhere like this with the... Is it just me, or is that... Yeah, that background is moving very, very slowly. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, you can just randomize his appearance there. But if we head up here, we can go into our stat assignment. So we can come through here to give him things like... these green ones here are your AI skills. The purple ones are just your regular traits. And of course, you can also just dump points into his stats here. These will affect his overall star level. And honestly, this entire mode feels like an exercise in frustration because it's basically going to be pure luck. It doesn't matter whether or not you're in like the really long mode that gives you like a year to do this shit. You're still going to be entirely reliant on the idea that you need to have really good luck in order to stand a chance at this. And that is really frustrating, if I'm being perfectly honest. Sure, you can go and buy some consumable items, but even just having played like one of... Right, he's just asking if I'm sure if I want to do that. And we can put him into any team, or we can stick him as a free unit. We're going to stick him as a free unit. Unfortunately, you can't do random names in this game. It's a little bizarre. But yeah, now that you've done with that, you can take that custom player that you've just made, and you can either put him into star player mode as a rookie or an original player, or you can take him, if you've put him into a team, for example, you can put him into a team and then take that team into the pennant race. So you can assign him to a team like that. You can also take him into home run if you feel like playing with a dude like that. But it's better when you're in the home run mode to be playing with a guaranteed good hitter, because you absolutely do want that. You do also have like Dream League, for example, but he doesn't come into Dream League at all. And you can also just, use him as a single player in the single match, which is kind of a nice feature. With that said, let's go check out the star player mode. I haven't got too much time into this, I admit. There's a reason for this, because as you can see here, I've started 3 separate games, because I was really confused for a moment here. Now, my general... I don't remember if this is true in 2012 or not. I don't know if I even had time to get around to this mode in 2012, but... Let's just take a quick look around first. These are all individual settings, and some of the other settings you've got here, like you've got your My settings there for how you want to play. That's your overall difficulty level, which you can change on the fly, easy, medium, or hard. You've got a few things here, like you can choose whether or not to watch stuff happen, which is nice. It makes the matches go by that little bit faster. Same thing here, you can choose whether or not certain things happen or not. I don't have this translated, I'm sorry, but yeah, this is where you come to both use and buy consumable items. You earn VP as you play different modes, and you can use that to, see, this is the, you can come here and buy stuff. Like, I believe that 10,000 VP will get you some extra bonus money that you can use. That's your player stats. This is your help menu, and I believe the final one is quit. Calendar lets you see what's going on ahead of time. I believe we're still in the pre-season, so it doesn't matter too much. The game does change depending on the players you play. So, as I said before, you can get players in both... you can play as a rookie and as an original player, but you can also play as a player who's already an established player. So you can... The game changes in that sense. If the player's already married, you won't be able to go for marriages. If the player is already, a star, for example. And this is what one of the mechanics comes into. But this just lets you check how things are going in the pennant race, because an individual pennant race and, your individual players as well are all here, and they're all being acted on and stuff in the simulation. I can't comment on the quality of the simulation because, again, I've never had the time to play these games thoroughly. Here's your star power, by the way. So, The more star power you get by completing things like achievements, by like, you know, doing certain things like hits, runs, all sorts of stuff like that. Personal relationships gets you star levels, and this will help you do things like increase your salary, your overall popularity, and just as a general, it's a general goal to go for. One of the general goals in one of the trophies in this game, for example, I believe is to start with a rookie player and get to star level 50. I believe that's one of the major trophies that you can do. So that's one of the major goals. You can also see things like your individual stats and stuff like that from here. You do also have the ability to change your individual training regimens. So if we come here, we can see that we've got 3 abilities selected here. And we've also got a intensity of training. And this will affect the stats that are upgraded. So you can see that the individual training things that I've got equipped here are upgrading my hitting ability, my meat those two are meat, my power, and I don't remember what that is, but if I remember correctly, I do believe that's like error proneness for like my fielding and stuff like that. But yeah, you can come here to select the rate that you do your training, and this will affect both your mood, and in this game, like you can see the red smiley face up there, the mood of individual players affects their abilities. So a player that is currently in blue sad face mode will be worse off than a player who is in red smiley mode. That is generally a stat boost. That's what it's worth. You can also go out on the city and doing that, for example. You can also like talk to people to improve your relationship with them. This will improve things like your star power and stuff like that, of course. You can also come here to buy stuff because you have a yearly salary and stuff like that. And if you come here and buy stuff like a fancy apartment, a good bed, a nice watch, some equipment, you know, stuff like that, this will help improve your game, improve your mood, and all sorts of things like that. We can also, you know, just like talk to people, including things like our coach. So we can ring up our coach, and it appears he didn't answer, and that means we get to skip that, because of course we do, because that's just my general shitty luck for you. We can go out on the town before we actually go and, well, not go out on the town per se. There is actually, like, mechanics where the further up you go and more, all of that. Like, this is the pre-season, so I don't think we can leave, but once we can leave, we can do things like go out on the town, experience certain things through that. And of course, you can do the usual things like get a girlfriend, because yes, this is that sort of game. Well, not really, but you can, like, get a girlfriend. But here's the thing. Let's actually go out and play a match. You can also choose to skip them. But for the purpose of demonstration, I need to actually play a game to show you what this is like, because, well, honestly, I couldn't quite figure this out. So yeah, the game plays in simulation mode until you get an opportunity to hop up on the field. Then this happens. I'm not in control of my cursor. All I can do is wait and hope that I get the timing right on the swing once I actually do swing. This is really strange. I've gone through all the options. I've gone through all of the, not only the individual settings, but all of that stuff. And as far as I can tell, there is no way to make it so that you're playing the game normally with like your meat cursor in star player mode, at the very least. And I'm really not sure why. Like, it seems against the point to me personally. Like, why would they make it so that you have to rely on timing here when you're in control of the individual player? So all there really is to do is go through and hope you get the timing right. Because if you get the timing right, it's almost guaranteed to be a good hit. But it also takes a lot out of the batting. It makes it less enjoyable. And I'm really not sure why, for star player, this is an option. Or this isn't an option, I should say. Especially when you've got, like, My Life mode, where, you know, you can play through and you can just play the game normally. I don't understand it. I've got, there are tons of options too. Like, there are options to change what you see in the game. There are options to, like, you know, control your player while he's out on the field and all that. You know, like the regular My Life mode in, Power Pros. But for some reason, I've tried every single option. I've tried every option in the menus to try and see why this wasn't a thing. Hell, I started 3 separate games trying to figure out exactly why I can't actually play, like, with the meat cursor and stuff like that. Because as I said, I really enjoy hitting in this game, and having it being reduced to a game of just timing like this is so strange. And I really don't know why it's a thing. It resulted in me just skipping a bunch of games. Because I thought to myself, I don't really want to play this gameplay when it's this simple. So I ended up, like, I just got walked. I'm not entirely sure why, but I did. Also, did you see that bat just wobble up and down when he dropped it? That's what I mean when I say the animations in this game are kind of strange. But yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. I'm not sure what's going on there. And when I started skipping games, I said to myself, do I really want to be playing a mode where it feels like most of the stuff that I'm doing is just like management of numbers? Because that's basically what it comes down to when I'm starting to skip matches. I'm just managing this player's like exercise routine, more or less. And I'm doing that for a pretty long while because when a game like this has so many loading screens between you and, like, actually playing, like, the game, there are a bunch of, like, skipped... There we go, I actually managed to hit it, but no, I fucked up. Probably not gonna get... Yeah. We lost. But at least I got a decent hit in. That'll do me some favors later on in the game, except I don't really care because I don't plan on coming and playing this again, because when I'm just going to be skipping games instead of putting up with this weird-ass system where I just basically have to focus on the timing of my hit and nothing else, and there doesn't seem to be any option to turn this off, even in the, like, even in another player mode where, like, even in the mode where I have a, like, a star player already, the fact that I can't turn this mode off so I can, like, play in individual, like, games as, like, that player is so bizarre to me. I don't know what the deal is, and it makes me really dislike that mode, if I'm being honest. I like it way better when I can actually control what I'm actually doing. Alright. So that, I already said that I don't play Pennant Race that much because it's a menu-driven mess. At least in this game, you can actually play as your entire team, and I did that, and I won, like, one match. So at least I know that you can do that properly, you know, with the actual meat cursor, not just, like, hitting on a timer and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're just gonna skip that one. Home Run. Should I play Home Run? I really think I should. But at the same time, I probably shouldn't. You know what a Home Run Derby is like. The way Home Run works in this game is that you get 10 balls. Every ball that you successfully hit gets you another ball up to an extra 10. And the more home runs you hit, the more points you get. And at the end of it, you just get those home runs back as VP. And you have to bet VP in order to actually play. Like, you have to bet 100 VP, but like 2 home runs will get that back for you. So it's not like it matters too much. It's a home run derby. It's not really that interesting. So, Braid Play is exactly what I said before. It's the live scenario mode where they monitor all of the baseball games that have taken place in the Japanese leagues, and they give you a little scenario to play through based on each match. You can play through with like a certain difficulty level. I'm going to put the difficulty level down to 3. The more that you do, the more points that you will get. We're playing as the Swallows, so yeah, I'll be batting on this one. Yeah, the higher level of difficulty that you play through, the more points that you get, and those points will go towards your position on a leaderboard. However, considering that there are an absolute ton of missions to do, it seems like that the people at the top of the leaderboards will mainly just be playing as... Like, the people who are at the top of the leaderboards will basically be playing a lot. So, yeah, I'll show you what I mean once we go back to it. The scenarios are usually really simple to understand. Sometimes they give you some more complex instructions, but the majority of the time, the thing that you mainly need to do is play well. For example, getting a home run, like I just did. Completely on my own. Okay, sure, why not? But yeah, generally the idea is play well. If you're on defense, keep them from getting through. If you're on offense, hit home runs, do really well. And you'll be graded at the end depending on your performance. Like, getting a single... Did they just fucking dab? Sorry, I just needed a moment to recover myself there. Yes, the slow frame rate is the game. It's a little bizarre. You can tell just by... Like, wow, that actually hurts my eyes looking at it for too long on a big screen. It's not that bad when it's on the Vita small screen, but man, if you were playing that on the PS4 and decided to do that, people would be pissed. You would be giving them eye strain so fucking quickly. I just hit the space bar. I hope that didn't do anything. But yeah, I actually did pretty well on that. That could not have turned out better for me. A home run on the first hit, that's going to give me some massive points. But yeah, this gives you a little summary of what happened during the... Well, during the simulated game. It's different from the actual results. But yeah, I got some points for that. They actually give me, Yeah, they give me SC? I don't know what that is, honestly. But yeah. See, I cleared that as a 3-star. You can hit the triangle button to see all the missions that you can do. I did a couple of them just to see what it was like, but it's basically identical to the mode that was in Power Pros. Oh, they also gave me a consumable item for I believe that was the gold bars item for the star player mode. That's kind of nice. But yeah, here's the leaderboard. That number that is not the one that is 6 digits is the one that tells you how many missions that they've done. I've done 5 missions. The people on these leaderboards have done something in the realm of 400. So, yeah. Like, look, the guy up top, 1,088 missions. Oh yeah, this mode's all online only, by the way, so when they decide to take it down, it's gone. Real shame that. It'd be nice if they were able to, like, integrate it into the game via a patch at the end of its life cycle, but... Yeah, they can't do that, can they? So there's only one real mode left, and that is the brand new mode to this game, which is Dream League. Dream League, as I said before, is the combination of the old Grand Prix mode, where you build your team out of what is basically like a card system. You play games, you earn money, and you can use that to buy more people. Oh yeah, this is my daily login reward. Actually, it's kind of nice they let you choose between all the individual items there. I kind of appreciate that, although it's obviously aren't going to give you anything particularly overpowered, but there you go. This is also online only, by the way, which is great. Oh yeah, SC. Yeah, okay, so it's credits for this mode. Sure. You got your gifts there, and I need to go to my my translation guide again, just a moment. Okay, so here's your options here in this menu. This is your match. We'll get to that. This is your scout. So if we hit scout, we can go into our premium selection, which lets us both spend heat energy in order to spend heat energy in order to get ourselves new players. Obviously, this isn't going to get me anything particularly great because it's the freebie that they give you. So who did I get? I'm sorry, buddy. I've got no idea who the fuck you are. But if I hit the triangle button here, I can see your name is Shigenobu? I believe that's how you pronounce that, or at least I hope I'm close. But you can see your stats here and all. Whoa, he's an S rank in something. That's a little bizarre, considering that he's a B level player. But yeah, you can spend your money in order to get certain things. So as you can see here, you need to spend certain amounts of heat energy in order to get certain benefits. You can also hit up a web browser to actually see what the percentage rates are of what you'll get. Because, of course, it is a gacha, and Japan actually has laws against this sort of thing being particularly unfair. Actually, hold on. Just let me go and spend that heat energy that I got, because it doesn't go anywhere else. Heat energy is ridiculous. To get, like, I think it was like 2,500 heat energy. I could be wrong about this, but I mean, I'm sorry. I looked this up yesterday, but I don't remember specifically. Great, I got a blue again. That really doesn't help me. That silver S would have been really nice, but of course, it is a gacha game. Wouldn't be a gacha game if you weren't getting a bunch of really shit people. But yeah, it's something like 2,500 energy for like 10,000 yen, which is $100. It's really not great. You can also come here to this second option to see your list of people. So as you can see, most of them are Ds, but you get like Bs and Cs and stuff like that. You can change them out, of course, but we're not going to do that because I'm not going to spend the time to do it. You can also come here to your ticket menu to spend your tickets, and your tickets are also basically just like free searches. But they're guaranteed to be of a certain kind. So I got a B pitcher from the SoftBank Hawks. What's your name, buddy? Kajiya, apparently. He's 2 years older than I am. You've also got these two options down here, which are where you go to buy energy, but this is going to error out because I'm not on the right PlayStation Network region. And you can also come down here to buy tickets. And you buy tickets using your SC money, as you can see. You can save up your money to try and get a really good player. And as you can see, they're separated by their kind of player. So this is a pitcher. I believe this is a baseman. This is an outfielder. And I don't know what the gold star there means. But as you can see, depending on the level of ticket you buy, you can get certain grades of people. Of course, you earn those kinds of currencies by doing the challenges, as you can see here. So I've earned 5,000 SC points, and these individual challenges will give you things like encouragement items, coaching items, which we'll just unlock all of right here just while we're here, because it'll be a good opportunity to demonstrate how these items work. Oh cool, I got even more tickets. That's actually kind of interesting. They appear to be handing them out like candy, but this is a gacha game. Also, it's a gacha game by Konami. Let me tell you about gacha games by Konami, because I've played Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. They have this really annoying tendency to just shower you with shit for a while, but then... No, I didn't mean to do that. Let's just go and spend that heat energy just for the purpose of demonstration, but... They tend to shower you with shit for a while, but then after a while, they really start to make it so that you, okay, so it looks like I've been guaranteed a good player thanks to buying so many. Again, I'm sorry, buddy, I have no idea who you are. At least I know that you're a good second baseman. I wish I had time to follow the Japanese baseball circuit. Let's just hit triangle and skip the rest. But yeah, I got 6 pitchers, 2 third basemen. Great. And a second baseman. That's not what I needed. Alright. Yeah, you get the idea, okay? It's a gacha system, right? So, if we come down here to supervision just real quick, we'll just get this menu out of the way. This lets you spend points that you earn by coaching matches to earn like extra abilities and upgrade your dude. You also have the ability to change your profile from here because this is seen by other players. Other players will be fighting your team. You can, of course, also come here to change the look of your coach as you so desire, and that will be reflected in-game as the other players' coach. If you come down here, you can also see what items you have, and you can use them and discard them as you so desire. You can also come down here to... Oh, no, this is your challenges again. Yeah, right, forgot. Derp. Right, so... I need to remember where this is. So, right, if we go back to our teams here, we can go to our batting order. And if we head up to, I believe it was this menu. Yeah, this lets you swap out your pitchers. So let's get that pitcher front and center. Also, it's a little annoying that the pitchers take so long to load because it makes the game feel a little worse for wear. We'll put it that way. You can also see their DP, which is their basic value to you as a team member. So yeah, we'll just replace all our pitchers there. Now, it's this menu is the field menu, isn't it? Yes, it is. So, here's how this works. All of your dudes are good in a specific area, which means you need to swap them out into that specific area. So, for example, if I swap these two dudes... Oh, no, they're actually competent. Right, hang on. If I swap these two dudes around, for example... Huh. Whoops. But yeah, that's strange. I remember the last time I played this that if you swapped a dude into a place that he wasn't good at, he would get... yeah, there you go. You can see that his overall value to the team has decreased significantly because I swapped out someone... I swapped him out for someone who wasn't as good at his role. So yes, you need to have people in their particular roles in order for their contributions to be counted. More or less, right? I said I wasn't going to do that, but fuck, I've done it already anyway. We're an hour and 12 minutes in, but we're close to the end. And you can come here to do things like select players to see their abilities, of course. But you can also come here to discard players. So let's discard this guy. Oh wait, no, this isn't this isn't the discard menu. This is a different menu. This is the item menu. So we can give this guy some coaching. And that'll increase his level, but we also have to spend money to do it. Levels in this game do actually affect the ability of characters. So you can actually make your team a little bit better, but swapping them out for higher level dudes is always recommended because, you know, that's how these sorts of games work. You get higher level dudes, you level them up, you use them to get better dudes, yada yada yada. That's the general idea of it. You can also discard certain players. I believe it's this one. So if we want to discard this rank C dude, I can do that. Whoop. I can do this, and that'll give me a coaching item and a little bit of extra money. So you can use that coaching item to power up other players. It's one of those sorts of games. As far as I can tell, it doesn't go much more in depth than that outside of your usual traditional baseball stuff. This is also your settings for your team and this is your, you can also change the numbers on them for some reason. Why you do this, I have no idea, but you can do it. It does at least give you a little bit of control over what you do, but now that I've explained all the systems, we can come here and actually have a look at the actual gameplay. So, here's how it works. You can play as many matches, as far as I can tell, against the computer players that you like. And, oh right, I forgot, this is the online leaderboard, so we have to wait for it to populate. And you can see how certain players are doing. And as far as I can tell, this league resets every few days. So this one looks like it resets the day before my birthday. So the further up you get in the league as it goes on, the more rewards you get. So if I just come back down here, you can see that I need to get 25,000 points. And you earn points as just an overall score of how you do throughout the matches. And the higher you get, the more stuff you get, and that will be determined at the end. And when you hit play, it will put you up against a relatively similar spec team. You can, of course, see their team layout and all that, and change yours at the last second. You also get bonuses depending on certain things. I don't know what those bonuses are, because frankly, even if I do translate them, they come out as absolute gibberish. But yeah, you get bonuses based on certain things, and the more points that you have, the more advantage that you have, because these points have a overall minor effect on the, what's it called? I need to open up a certain page here, because it's a certain thing. I'm going to put this page in the, what's it called, in the description, because it gives you a... I haven't been able to play this mode before, but then I found this website called Spirit's Translation. It's from the same people who did the Powerful Pro Yakyuu translation site. And it actually tells you what a lot of the commands are. Doesn't tell you what all of them are, but it tells you a majority of them. So we use this ability down here. And we have the ability to, well, actually it works the same way either way. But we have a bunch of commands that we can give out. So, for example, we have the ability to tell the pitcher to throw strikes, throw balls, go for a strikeout, or pitch to contact for a fly out, you know, send the ball high. We're gonna ask him to throw balls this time and see how that turns out, because everything is determined by the players and their stats and all that. I told him to go for balls, and that's exactly what he did. So now that we've got bases loaded, we can tell him to go for strikes. Unfortunately, that has not worked in my favor either, because he hit the ball. The game is actually playing at 4 times speed here, if you're wondering why it's going so fast. You can change this if you like. But yeah, it just simulates the game, and holy fuck, I've been screwed. Good lord, they got 10 balls through. What the hell am I supposed to do to that? Right, so yeah, I just let him go for that one. Wow, really not giving me many opportunities to fight back here. Usually, it's supposed to give you a bunch of opportunities to fight back, but yeah, now it's giving me the choice in the matter. And now we can go and order them around again. And these are some of the offensive commands. Sometimes these change, which is really annoying. But we got aggressive, patient, hit for power, and hit for contact. We do also have this option down here, which is basically go for broke. Try and massively affect the game. And considering that this is my best batter, I'm going to tell him to go for broke. You can only do this once. You do also have that versus option in the bottom right, which allows you to have a rough guess at what their team is going to do. That was a waste of a go for broke, because he's just going to wander away. But yeah, you can see what kind of a difference having lower points has, because it's made my team so incompetent. They let 13 fucking runs through. I just told this guy to be aggressive, and it worked out for him, because he got a decent hit, but still got out anyway, because fuck. Now, there's a bunch of other options here as well. Bunch for base hits, steal home, and that's not squeeze. What is that? It's might be one that goes for both. Defensive tactics. I think that's an intentional walk. We're not going to do that though. We're going to tell him to play aggressively. Play aggressively again. Honestly, I tried playing this mode without actually looking up the translations. I didn't remember this site existed, but then I looked it up and I started doing worse. I know that seems silly, but that's what happened. I was a little bit surprised. play aggressively again, because why the fuck not? We're going to lose this anyway. There's absolutely no way this team is going to pull out a 10-run miracle for me. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Game's over. We lost massively. So yeah, we lost, but we do get some resources out of it. We get points for our climbing up the ladder. We get some resources, not much, but it'll usually give us at least a little bit. There's our experience for all our players, so they'll at least be slightly better next time. And we got a bunch of scout tickets, so we can try and get some better players. But yeah, we can just immediately hop back into the next match if we choose to. And it also tells us our top matches over there. Do we want to do another one? Yeah, let's do another one. Just one more, I suppose. I'm pretty sure we're going to get creamed again, but it's worth a try, I guess. Well, we've got the point advantage, so this will probably work in our favor. So I can definitely see the appeal of, like, building your dream team and managing them from the sidelines, don't get me wrong. But I'm kind of biased towards this mode because out of all the modes that were included in Pro Yakyuu Spirits 2012, my favorite was Grand Prix. And they basically tore it apart for this microtransaction-inspired management sim, which I get nowhere near the same amount of satisfaction out of. You know what? Fuck it. You get to be our big dude. Get 3 runs for us so that we can really bring it home. But yeah, I'm not going to say the management stuff doesn't work well, and you know, if you're good enough at this game to be able to put together a team and know what will work better for everyone involved, then how is that profitable for me? That's bizarre. But okay, but yeah, if you know the game well enough to put together your team and manage them properly with a little bit of like translation help and all that, I can see this mode being pretty fun and enjoyable. But again, they took apart Grand Prix because Grand Prix was basically the concept of like building your team via doing things like opening card packs, fighting your way across the country, and actually playing as your team. Like you can't play as your team in this mode. You can't be there and do the bats. You can't be there and you can't be there at bat. You can't be the pitcher. You can't be the batter. And that's really depressing, honestly. Because I would have loved to have seen... Just time to... Yeah. I would have loved to have seen like the ability to at least play as your team in this one. I don't know why you can't. It seems like such a weird thing, building your team and then not being able to actually go and like play as them. Then again, I suppose if you want that, you'd go and play Pennant Race, because at least there you can get all the players without having to pay ridiculous amounts of money or rely on... Yeah, without having to pay ridiculous amounts of money or having to rely on luck in order to get that star player that you're looking for. I don't like it. But at least I'll admit that it's at least capable of doing what it's doing well, but as I said before, this is Konami. It's basically waiting for the other shoe to drop. And that's kind of the most disappointing thing of all. Of all of the things, of all of the games and stuff that Konami puts out, of all of the, like, you know, things that they've put up to things like pachinko machines and stuff like that. Power Pro and Pro Yakyuu Spirits, for the most part at least, were the two games that didn't fall victim to the... were for the most part things that didn't fall victim to the microtransaction laden market of today. Well, that sucked. You know what, fuck it, I'm gonna tell this guy to play defensively. Still didn't work in my favor. Fuck me. Well, at least it was only an out. Yeah, I need to tell you what to do. I need to get some of those people in to secure my lead. We're on the offense, so... do we want to do aggressive, patient... hit for contact. We'll do that. If we hit for contact, maybe we can at least get, like, one dude in before something goes wrong. Oh, come on, man. Why did you run for it? We could have had room for another run there. And, of course, they caught up because the simulation... oh, whoa! Okay, the simulation did me a favor there. Holy shit. Alright. I'm going to let these guys handle it, although I think it's going to want me to guess what they plan on doing. So, let's, we'll go for a strikeout. Wait, this is profitable for me? Well, that didn't work. Did he just walk like two people? No, that last one was a strike. Okay, I don't even know what this is, but I'm just going to tell them to do it anyway. I haven't looked at the translation list yet. Well, that didn't... oh, no, that actually did work in my favor. Man, what is it with adverse? I don't understand. Alright. Defensive tactics. Yeah, go for the strikeout. We can't risk it. Go for the strikeout. God damn it. Oh no, that was it. That was the last strike. Okay, that looked like a ball. At least we won that one, and we won it with a pretty significant margin, so we'll probably get more rewards for this one. So yeah, there's our points. We got a fair bit more than we did last time. It's also the third best game I've played since I started the mode. And a bunch of coupons. Well, at least I got some decent money for some extra players, but this is me we're talking about. I'm not going to have any time to play this. Like, well, at least I'll give it credit. It doesn't have any bloody energy systems. I don't even know what this mode is. What's this mode? Oh, it's one of these modes. I'm guessing that you only have a limited amount of games to play, and the better you do, the better rewards you get, but I mean, it still probably isn't going to let you play as your team that you've spent so much time building, but yeah. One last thing I want to point out, for whatever discernible reason, the theme song that plays when you're in the main menu is entirely in English, and it's actually good English. Like, I'm not entirely sure what the deal is with that, but it's there. What do I get as a gift? Oh yeah, it's this thing. So, what do I think of Professional Baseball Spirits 2019? It's a really tough question. It really is, because it still feels like the same game. I'm not going to deny that. It still feels like the old professional baseball spirits that I played, the 7 years old one that I played like 2 years ago. There is no denying this. The physics still feel great. It's still really good to get a good hit in. It's still really good to get a strikeout by the skin of your teeth. It's still really good to pull off a good field. It's, you know, make sure you get like 3 people out in like one fell swoop. That is all good. Except for a few things like the weird stutteriness on some of the animations and the weird frame rate issues that they've introduced with the past few Power Pro games and all that. It's so weird, but yeah, that's how it is. My main problem with this game, though, is the modes, I think. I mean, out of all of these modes, if you want to play a good game of baseball, if you want to be down there and actually in control of it, without having to dig through a bunch of menus, it seems like there are very few options for a player like me. Like, let's just compare, like, not counting the ability to just pick it up and play a random game, for example. I'd like something with a little more progression. I mean, that option is obviously there, but I like having a little bit of progression. Like, so you've got your Dream League mode, which is always online, which is kind of a problem for me, because, you know, the Vita's online isn't particularly great to begin with, and sometimes I'm just in a place where I can't get online. So if I'm building up a team on Dream League, but for whatever reason I can't actually get online, well, I can't actually build up my Dream League team any further. Not to mention, once they shut it down in 2 years, because that's how these kinds of things tend to go, yeah, you just won't be able to play it anymore. Then you've got your pennant race, which is a ridiculous amount of menuing and just strategy, which, I mean, not going to say that it's bad, just going to say, not my thing. Then you've got your star player mode, which usually appeals to me. These sorts of modes usually appeal to me in these sorts of games, but for some reason it just doesn't let you actually play as the dude you're playing as, instead of just making you rely on a weird little timing system. Maybe just to make it easier. I tried putting the difficulty up to hard. I played with every option in the menu. I started 3 games trying to figure out what the bloody hell I did wrong, but no, it just seems like all they really want you to do is focus on the dude's, like, stat building more than anything else, which is, again, really disappointing to me personally. Training and tutorial, those are absolutely fine, of course. I mean, how can you fuck that up, honestly? They've had, like, so many versions of this game to do that. Home run is home run. I'm never particularly one for it, especially when, like, here's the example of the one game I played. Basically, all like 15 balls. Like, I got like 12 home runs, and all 15 of them came dead center. In comparison to the other Yakyuu Powerful Pro Yakyuu game I just played on the Switch recently, at least they changed it up by making the ball move a little bit, and at least they made it so that, like, there was this weird little 4-player competitive mode where you could play against, like, other people and actually hinder them to make things a little bit more interesting. This game just has you going for high scores, which I suppose isn't a bad thing, but at the same time, after you've played that more than a couple of times, like, what is there to that mode exactly? Well, it's a good point sink. You earn tons of points if you do pretty well in it. So, and by points, I mean the points you spend on the in-game shop, not stuff you spend on stuff like Dream League. Also, that kind of annoys me. Why can't I take the points that I've earned here and spend them for, like, extra coins or heat on Dream League? You'd think that would be a good way to incentivize people to keep playing, but for whatever reason, they just didn't decide to do that. Then you've got your online matches, which, again, I could play them if I wanted to, but unless the connection between me and the guy who's 100 milliseconds away in Japan is absolutely perfect, the game will lag like a mofo, so I can't really play that even if I want to. They do have, like, a ranking ladder with, like, their own sort of, like, point system that shows you how far up you're going in your own leagues and stuff like that, but still, again, I can't play it. I mean, even when I'm in Australia, which is usually better for online play than most things, it still isn't very good for this series. It never really has been. Fuck, what was that mode again? I have to get my... Oh yeah, break play, the live scenario again, which is like basically just banging your head against the wall trying to earn points to grind up a leaderboard. I mean, I appreciate the idea that you can go in there for like a sort of like recap on how the entire series is going, and that's kind of nice. And there's Koshien Spirits, which is mainly just meant for making new characters. I mean, you can play like a little bit of baseball here and there, but unless you plan on doing something with the characters like take them into the pennant race or star player, this mode doesn't really do that much for me. It's like a really compressed version of Success Mode from the Power Pro games. And if I wanted to play that sort of mode, I'd go play Success Mode because, you know, this mode can take anywhere from, as it says down there, 10 minutes to about an hour. So it just kind of feels like it's just tacked on. And again, if I wanted to make some players really quickly, they're missing Card Challenge, and instead they're using that weird little mode where you earn points and everything and use that to apply power abilities and stuff to them. And again, it's heavily based on luck. Even with consumable items, I believe that based on the games that I played myself, it's basically just a roll of the dice whether or not you get a good player. And yes, you do actually have to get a good player in order to get the Platinum Trophy in this game. I think you have to get like a star ranking of 450, which is really high for this game. So, to summarize everything I just said, basically I feel like there isn't a mode in this game for me. There isn't a mode that I can drop in and play, get a good few hits and pitches in, and feel like that I've at least accomplished something even remotely minor. Other than just coming in and playing like just a match here and doing that. Like, there's no like Power Festival mode. My Life mode is kind of weird. I don't play Pennant, but again, I have my reasons for that. And they took away the one mode that I absolutely adored from 2012, which was Grand Prix, and turned it into this management thing, which I need like an extra guide for just to do remotely well in. And then you've got your modes like your break play and your home run, which are just like tiny little extras, but nothing that can really hold the game up on its own. So, for me personally, no, I wouldn't go for it. If I had to recommend anything, I'd tell you to go for Power Pro 2016 or 2018, or if you want to go for a Professional Baseball Spirits game, why not 2015? Because they still have Grand Prix in that one. The game wouldn't be that much enhanced because obviously they can't do that much more with the Vita side of things, and yeah, it just feels like it has more to it than this one does. I don't really know what else to tell you. Although I've been here for about an hour and 37 minutes at this point, I would hope if I had something to tell you, you would have heard it. Because holy shit, I think this is going to be a record for my longest video ever. I'm pretty sure I beat out all the other pro Yakyuu videos I've done up to this point. Which is a shame because I've also done it for the biggest disappointment. I've been waiting for this to come out for a pretty significant length of time, and yeah, I find myself being disappointed in it and not wanting to go back to it. Because I feel like there's nothing here for me personally. And considering how like widespread the gamut of like modes and options tends to be in these games, the fact that this game feels like it's thin on the ground in terms of content for someone like me is actually kind of amazing. And, like, don't just take it from me, take it from all the people on Amazon who have rated this game lower than pretty much any other Konami-related baseball release in the last 5 years. Even, like, Heroes, I think, anyway, when I looked. Even that Heroes spin-off they did for the 3DS, which wasn't very good, still got better reviews overall than this one did. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just completely missing the point. Maybe all of this stuff is absolutely fine. Maybe I just don't understand Japanese and baseball and Japanese baseball well enough in order to actually get, like, this game's gloriousness, but can I find, like, my playtime? Hang on. So if I go to my player data, my profile data, actually, it'd be in my settings, wouldn't it? So if I head over here to the settings, and I go to my my profile settings, does it tell me how long I've been playing? That's my name. That's my avatar. That's my birth year. And that's my favorite team. Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere I can go to see how long I've been playing for, but trust me, I've been playing for a while. I uncharged my Vita's battery at least twice playing this, if that gives you an idea. It's like a 4-year-old OLED at this point, but still, you get the general idea. If you want my personal recommendation, Power Pros 2018 would be your best port of call if you're starting with this series, because they really, like, the amount of, like, just general content in those games is great, and they've taken some time to fix up a little bit of the issues. I don't know if they'll do the same with this, because I think the issues are a little bit more widespread than just mechanical problems. They could fix, like, the weird wonky animations and, like, make the game a little bit smoother, sure, but considering that they already delayed this game 3 months and it came out like this, I can't imagine what they would be able to do to improve it any further. So yeah, there you go. That's all I got. I apologize if you sat through this for an hour and 40 minutes hoping for something good and ended up getting something that I think was not that great. I'm going to go see if I can find a copy of 2015 to play their version of the Grand Prix mode, because, yeah, the mechanics are good, the modes aren't. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.